Welcome to Canberra
Metalheads.
Season 1.
The Archives. Alright, let's kick it.
Coming up next, we've got a treat for you guys. We're going to have the members from Claret Ash, Nick and James, in the show.
It's wicked for those guys to come in and share their time with us and share their time with you guys. Really hope you enjoy the interview, guys.
Stick around for an interview with Nick and James from Claret Ash here on Canberra Metalheads. How you going, fellas?
Good.
Good, thanks.
That's awesome. That's wicked. Thanks so much for coming in, by the way, guys.
No worries. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Hanging out with Benphegor
Sup?
and Marky Malphas. So, first question we got for you guys, how did you guys all meet? I mean, you've got a fairly big lineup over the years, and I've seen members around all the time. What sort of pulled you all together into this band?
Well, I came down from Sydney about 6 years ago, I think, and I hooked up with a couple of members. We came together in the band, and we've had change-ups as we've gone through, but Nick has been there from early days. We knew him from other bands and, stole him.
There's actually a funny story about how I joined the band. Was the original bass player from Memoriam was the original bass player for Claret Ash.
Yep.
And I'd replaced him in both bands. But I remember one of the first time I met James was in the Memoriam jam room at Black Sun.
Yep.
And I was just hanging out there while Claret Ash was jamming. And James walks in and goes, "Oh, look, a new member of the band." And like a year later, I was a member of the band.
Yeah,
Nice.
Say it until it's true.
exactly.
He's got the national bassist here for Canberra.
If Matt McCowan joins the band, I would have joined it after him.
Yeah.
So it works.
he always gets the position open for you to come and fill it.
Yeah.
Like when someone warms a seat for you.
You walk in, you sit down, you're like, yes.
Already warm.
Stuart, our drummer, he came to we had like a house party thing, and he came and, it was late into the night, and we're playing guitar in one of the rooms, and I had an electronic drum kit set up, and, I hear this rumble, and I turn around and there's this red-haired little monster going, "Yeah!" And he was just smashing out. He was, he was crazy, and I just sat there and went, ooh, I got to remember that. And when I found out he's a massive drummer, not in a band, and it's like whoa, it's like a unicorn. Need to get him. And Josh, I think he moved back to Canberra from Melbourne, and Nick knew him, and we got together and kind of met up, and had a couple of jams and wrote a couple of stuff, and it was just like he's almost like my brother. There's like, such a good mesh with music. What he wrote would play off what I wrote, and, it just melded so well together.
Plus, he had so much music pent up that he just exploded with ideas.
That's wicked. That's what you want, though. Someone who can just go, like, bring their A game, bring the,
Yeah.
Well, he never had much of a chance to write his own music as well.
Yeah.
That's the issue that James had with his other bands as well.
Yeah.
So when we finally got him on, he just went, "Have all of this.
Yeah.
Take it."
Yeah.
Just take it. Take my life.
I'm going to regurgitate stuff, pick and choose what bits of corn you like. That was really good, and that's been the lineup for a while.
Yeah,
that's wicked, man.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear how bands meet, because a lot of the time all we see is what's on stage.
Yeah.
And you kind of, it's good to put a story behind like what's in front of us. So it's really cool. Like you guys look aesthetically pleasing as well as a whole band. Like it looks like you fit together, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's good to actually have people in the band that you really get along with. That
that's the main thing.
You'll chat and hang out and shoot stories all the time. So it's good.
Wicked.
Like always. A good band lineup is a bunch of dudes that would otherwise still be mates anyway.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like that.
Well, if you've ever gone on tour with a bunch of people or gone away, you've got to be mates, otherwise
it just doesn't work.
Otherwise you're just sitting around going, yep, okay.
Especially to Japan.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be able to get into that later. I think there's going to be some cool stories about traveling.
Yeah, sleeping arrangements. Whoa, yes.
Yeah, especially in like a location you're not used to, you know, like if it's not like, I mean, obviously if you're local in town, you can always work something out, but when you're somewhere where you don't know the surroundings, it just adds a whole new level of fear.
Yeah,
That's when you
exactly.
really test the friendships.
Yeah, no one knows the language. Everyone's, you know, a bit seedy after the night before,
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
And, you know, I think I did a month of Japanese before in my schooling days, and so I was like, whoa, apparently that's advanced compared to everyone else. I'm like, all right, I'm the dedicated translator.
Yeah, like 4
Yay.
words. Food, hello, and goodbye.
Yeah, it just makes. I had a friend that went over to France, and they said all they learnt before they went was cafe latte and croissant. So they gained like 15 kilos while they were there.
It's good. You got to make it work. Yeah.
Right, so I've been fanboying over this question for a while. So what was it like opening for Cradle of Filth?
Yeah, it was amazing. We had high hopes. You know, they were coming to Canberra. We were launching the album. We were kind of hoping it would all line up and,
Yeah.
you know, we'd be chosen as the support. But, yeah, it was absolutely surreal. You know, getting on the stage, seeing all their equipment, getting really excited.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them live before, so
No, me
it was. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, it was amazing.
Because that was my first time seeing you guys live as well. So it was a pretty intense night for me, and I was just blown away by everything. Like, I couldn't even put into words like how good that night is, and how good like you guys were a choice for like the lineup. Like, it was great.
Yeah, it was great. And, you know, we rocked in and saw them doing their sound check as well. And so it was the, you know, internal screams going, yeah.
Little teenage yous going crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, we got in the, you know, little special VIP back room. We're like, whoa. We're like,
is really happening.
Yes, we've gone up a notch here.
Or a back room that we don't have to share with 4 other bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love it when you can watch a band do their sound check and get blown away like you would if it was like the actual show.
Yeah.
I remember when they were sound checking, I came in after, and everyone that was on the bar at that night was just going like, you just missed sound check, as if I just missed the actual show.
Yeah.
That was sort of my fault because he had to come and pick me up. So like, I hear the story a lot.
For shame.
I make sure that I use it for when I'm driving him back to his place, so I can just remind him like what driving him to places has done to me in the car.
You've taken away the key moments in my life.
It reminds me of one time we went. My brother was staying at my place, and we went up to the bar to watch a band there, and it was actually Inhuman Remnants, and they come out, and Dave's all sweaty, and Luke just goes, "Why are you sweaty, man?" And he's like, "Oh, we just played." And Luke just turns to me and he's like, "I told you we couldn't have a roast before the gig."
Yeah.
I went through a phase of thinking that like an appropriate time to cook a roast is like maybe 45 minutes. The beauty of air fryers, man, they just throw the complete dynamic of cooking a roast out. Yeah, but back on track. Sorry.
Yeah, just watching their setup as well. You know, an ultra professional band. You can tell that they've done, you know, so many gigs. You watch, you know, Danny Field walk up and he's doing, and it's just
he's got
just amazing,
some brutal highs.
Yeah. And I heard stories, you know, it's Cradle of Filth, he can't do his highs, you know, it's a bit of a dodgy show. But watching him, and they played for an hour and maybe 40 minutes.
I think it was
crazy.
An hour and 40, 45, yeah.
Watching him do, like, it was just mind
shows the big league. Like,
yeah.
crazy,
All the
man.
music, their songs I recognise sounded just like I remember from the CDs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, exactly.
That's literally like what everyone's told me so far when I talk about that gig.
Yeah, certainly. Like my first album I ever bought, metal album, was Damnation in a Day.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, and
I've still got the shirt at home.
oh really? Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, like so. What happened with that was my brother actually bought it, and because we had a mutual friend that liked Cradle of Filth, and we went, "Hey, there's that band that he was showing us," and I happened to have a Pantera poster he really wanted, so we did a swapsy.
Yes.
And I think he still got the poster, but I definitely still have the album. So. But yeah, no, it's so crazy to just think that like such a massive international band like was available here for us to watch. It's so close.
That was what I was most surprised about, because everywhere just sort of dismisses Canberra. They just go to Sydney, Melbourne, somewhere else.
Yeah, it's interesting because bands come from all over the world, and just to have the Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and that's it, 3 shows. You're like, oh, they might squeeze Perth in. Adelaide always gets shunned because whatever. But just like Canberra. But it's it is a real treat when they actually come, and you look at the bands last year. There was Destroy 666, Inquisition were going to come, and we were going to support that, and Venom. There's just Cattle Decapitation. There's just heaps, and we got like Satyricon coming up.
Even bands like Dragon Force.
Oh yeah.
It's a massive
Dragon Force. Like, that was another 15-year-old me band. Like,
yeah. No, absolutely amazing. What was the selection process like? So how did you like win support? Was there like a contact chain or something?
Yeah, well, I guess being in
they just heard James' brutal highs. They're like, nah, these guys are it.
They're just like Google black metal band Canberra. Oh, look. No, Canberra's actually gets some pretty good black metal bands, but we used to be like a young band and kind of wait until the opportunities came to us. Yeah. You don't really get anything unless you go for it. Yeah. And so we, realized a while back, find out who's bringing them. You shoot them an email. You do that a couple of times. You talk to a couple of people. You get your contacts. Through that's how we send out our promos for our albums and get reviews and stuff like that. We kind of, do it all ourselves these days. But yeah, we sent them an email and said, hey, here's us. We're in Canberra. We'd like to support. We've got hunk of chunk of music, heaps of live stuff, an album coming out around the same time. We would love to, do the support.
Did you send them like some sample music over as well, or did you?
Yeah, well, we've got the Bandcamp we usually put in there. We've got like an electronic press kit which shoots off and it says a list of all our shows, reviews, pictures and all that stuff. It's kind of a necessity these days if you don't kind of have a press kit to shoot people, and people can look at a glance and see what you're all about. No one wants to really troll through a Facebook page if you're trying to look for bands. But we've been on a couple of Destroyer Lines shows before, supporting Naval Viscaros as well. So we've got our contact there, and we're like, hey. So
that's wicked. Yeah, it must have felt pretty good when Danny shouted out your band's name.
Oh, yes,
that was I was happy about that.
Yes. Well, I got it on my phone as well. So a little video. Nice. So we'll do a shout out as soon as I can, and just say thanks to everyone as well. And you can check that out. It's just. Just watching everyone cheer as well.
Yeah, it was wicked.
Yeah, such a rad lineup.
The best part was when he made everyone yell it out again.
He's like, "Come on, people!"
Yeah. Although, man, I can't.
He did say, "I don't mean to be rude," but that didn't sound like you have it. Like, I love that. Still was a gentleman about it.
Yeah, of course, he's English, like me. We have to be gentlemen. But I can't believe that they blew the speakers. Or what was it they did?
The power.
That was it. Yeah.
I tell you what was good though. They had like a 35-second turnaround. It was all back up and running. I mean, that was so good.
Yeah, it's happened at the basement before, so they knew exactly where it was. And boom, which is great because something like that can cascade. And
they were so nice about it as well, because because it was right. Like, he even said it was right at the part of his favorite part of that song. And like, when I seen them all walk off, I was like, that's it. They're done with that. Like, now they came back on, they just went straight into it. I was like, man.
Yeah. No, it's good. You're like, oh, is someone going to lose their head? No, good.
Someone's getting fired.
Someone's going to become a stage prop.
Yeah. I kept thinking, the drummer's like in his little booth. He's probably not even aware. He's probably going,
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah. No, you got to love that. They have some amazing techs at the basement, and I think that they have a good lineup to support internationals as well.
Yeah. And, getting up on stage and looking at their rig, because we all have to set up in front of the band as well. And we're like, ooh, and they're in-ear mics, and they've got that, and they've got like, they've taken every single PowerPoint and every single lead. Okay, so we got like this massive extension lead, poured it through, and then Nick and I go, let's not do wireless tonight because we physically can't. So it was it's one of those fun things that you jump on and just make it happen.
Yeah, that's it. No, you guys did brilliant though.
Cheers.
I loved it.
Yeah, nice tight set, man. So, how's recording the Cleansing album compared to your current album? The comparison between those two?
Yeah, well, Cleansing, we kind of worked on it for about a year, and it was getting to a point where we really wanted to record it. And yeah, we had a few setbacks, but we kind of gave ourselves, self-imposed deadlines, and we're like, okay, let's start moving. And in that time, we changed guitarists and drummer, so we kind of had to fill in those spots, and so we got Dutch from Memoriam to do drums on that, and so I worked with him to do the pre-production of the drums, and you set up with him and say, oh yeah, this is what I want, and he's like, oh, you mean this, and like 4 minutes later he's written the song. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy, and you just see how much how the quality jump that the Cleansing had compared to the previous release. The sound and the drums, it was just so more polished, I guess. But we had the whole setup done in my home studio, so a lot of the times I was 2:00 in the morning sitting there playing. It's like 12 hours long. I got to go to work in a couple hours. Oh well, I'll just keep going. And I had Dan and Grant as my housemates, and they all went to sleep as I was doing vocals, and they wake up in the morning and they're like, "You're still going? Well, okay." And there was one time where I was doing the clean vocals for The Wolves Are Fed Tonight, and it's got the clean vocals, and I was doing that, and I stopped and opened the door to get a glass of water, and I could hear them going la 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 la, and then the next room Grant would go la 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 la, and they're like singing to each other. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, go to bed. I'm like, what?
You love that. Oh, I guess it's good about living in a house with other people that are into music. They've got like that understanding what it's like to record an album.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time I was recording The Cleansing, that was my first album I recorded along with the Amorium album Universum.
Yeah.
And I was sort of at James's house like twice a week at least.
Yeah.
Because with Dan recording Amorium and James recording Claret Ash.
Just makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I was there quite a lot, and so recording that
The
album
unpaid
was good
roommate.
for me.
Yes, we should have worked out something.
Yeah, recording that album was interesting because it was obviously with the Amorium album was the first album I'd ever recorded. So.
Yeah. That's a pretty good album for your first.
Yeah. Well, James does a lot of the bass building for every song, so I can just sort of jump in and go, this is what he's already written because he's played bass for bands before, so he sort of knows what he wants.
Yeah.
Then I can just jump in and go, yeah, that's good. I'll change that a little bit, add a little bit here.
Yeah.
Just tweak it.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Wicked, man.
Yeah, and I guess it's a almost frustrating process recording, because I was recording for the guitars, the other guitars, the bass player, doing all the vocals. So I heard the songs probably in excess of 500 times before they had even been mixed.
Yeah.
And it's sitting there like, okay, keep going. No, do it again. No, do it again.
Yeah.
The amount of times you're just like, okay, and I'm just sitting there like, military style, going no, because you want it as good as you can, and if you're doing it at home, it's only time that's really costing you.
And not studio time.
Picks or strings or whatever you do.
How did you so have you got like your bedroom properly soundproof then, or?
No, that was in the lounge room, so we all go for like guitars. It's already all DIs straight in, nice and clean, and then they get reamped later, so you don't have to worry about the sound, which is great.
What about the immense vocals?
For the vocals, I set up my little vocal booth, so it depends on where I am. Sometimes I had for the new album, I got 2 bookshelves, put them side by side, slammed it in the corner of a room, and I put like a blanket thing on the top, and I'd sit there, and one of the shelves was for my laptop, and I'd sit there and I'd have a little light and go and do back and forth, and I had like the partner and kids asleep next door, and they're like, yep, he's doing vocals, okay. Well, they know what I'm doing. I'm like, but sometimes like when I do the demos of the stuff, I was sitting on my couch and I was going through Netflix, and I'm like, I'll just stop and do something during the ads, or in a break, and so I got like a doona over my head, and then I've got the mic, and I'm just like nah, and
that's intense.
Yeah, I think if I ever had to track any vocals for anything, I would just record me building the bookshelves, and there'll be enough yells and screams.
Oh yes, get something from IKEA, and
that's pretty much it.
Yes, but no, it's it's a crazy process building it all together, and because it's at home, and trying to be as much of a perfectionist as you can. You just layer and layer and nup, do it better, and the cleansing was built quite quickly because we wanted to have that kind of deadline done. Whereas the new album, we kind of said, all right, we've got a bunch of new people in here. This was Stuart's first album on the drums. We really wanted his input, not necessarily like Dutch doing the drums at the end. We wanted, it built. Josh did a few riffs and a couple of bits and pieces on the cleansing album, but this was very much a collaboration. He would write something, I would write something, we'd meld it together. We used Guitar Pro to build it, so we could do things pretty quickly. By the internet, flick it through. And we could go outside what we would normally play and then play it and go, it's playable, but I can do that and makes it more cool. Or, I can, instead of doing that 4 times, I can change it every single time and make it more, more harder on us. And, I can do that and that and that. And by doing that, I heard the songs probably, 1,000 times this time.
You start to love to hate it.
Well, and, it kind of gets you to that point where you really do love it, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
So bits, change. And I think that's why the songs are so, well constructed from our point of view. Because they've been built on, changed. More people have had their input. A lot of the riffs, we've played to Stuart, and Stuart's done some drums, and we're like, okay, that's like a completely different take, because previously I used to write the music and I'd write a riff and I would already know what the drums, the vocals, the bass and where it was going. But this one I was kind of like, I'll just let that go. It'll flow from the other band members and it'll become what it becomes. So it was very organic. And it was, I think it's turned out really well. It was over 2 years of work.
Definitely gave us some loving.
But it was built with everyone together.
No, that's wicked, guys.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, you're definitely a personal favorite band of mine.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love yous. I'm sort of fanboying here at the moment.
I'll give you an autograph later. It's okay.
Thanks, man.
Can you sign our set list?
All right, so I'll go into the next question. So who are your main influences as a band? Like, what music bleeds from other bands into your band?
Yeah, well, I guess we all have our interests, but
I think I know James's personal. Would be Aglock.
Yeah, I mean, there's Agalock, there's, Enslaved, Wolves in the Throne Room, Hypocrisy. We've kind of got the black, but we've kind of got the death, and we've kind of got the doom, and we've kind of got the progressive, the acoustic. So it's kind of hard. You kind of sit there and go, what do we sound like, because it's such a mold. And we tried to get our own sound from the very beginning. And
well, you definitely got a unique sound. Definitely. That's what drew me to you guys, because like I love black metal. There's a lot of black metal bands that sort of sound a bit similar, but they don't as well at the same time. Where you guys, you've got your own unique style, and that's what I love about you.
Probably the best compliment I've got from someone was, I can't remember who it was, when it was actually, it might have been in Tasmania. One of the guys from the other band said that you guys sound like a black metal Opeth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I'm like, thanks.
That's a pretty.
I could see that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's funny because, like, as I've said, we've had members change over time, but we still kind of had that core sound. Yeah. And that might be because I write a lot of the stuff, but we have influences from other things. Depends on our lives, our situations at the time, what's going on, what are we listening to. The different members bringing things. Josh definitely brought in kind of a mesmerizing kind of I don't even know what to say what he brought, but it was just on another level, and to mesh it all together into what it is. But no,
wicked, man. But as a band, what is your, so like if you guys had to sit down and pick out one record, what would it be to listen to if you guys are all together trying to get some inspiration or something?
Ooh,
that's a tough one.
I was thinking of that one on the phone,
asking
man.
me to pick out one record to play is a tough one.
That is a tough question. What's the selection then? We'll go for a selection. Give you like 5.
Well, just thinking from the last road trip, we came back
I was listening to Ice Cube on that road trip.
Yeah.
Gotta love some Ice Cube.
Yeah.
I could hear the hood in this album.
I could definitely feel the coldness.
Today was a great day.
Yeah, we were listening to, even Perturbator, kind of that techno-y, dancey stuff.
These are all questions I was not expecting.
yeah. Josh had a different playlist.
Yeah, and he kind of writes that stuff now as well.
Oh, wicked.
What else was there? There was
While you're re-listening to your album, was any of the members of the bands kind of like, oh, that reminds me of this song, like from another band? Was there any sort of moments like that?
No, and being in bands for years, I've kind of gone, had I'm going to write this riff, and you're writing, you're like, that's so cool. Oh wait, no, that's like Raining Blood. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, chuck that to the side. Whoops. But yeah.
So the goal is to try and make it sound as unique, as you possibly can in a world where most things have already been done once.
Yeah, that is hard thing about this day and age of music. Like back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, they had a lot easier time because there wasn't so much.
Yeah, it wasn't as accessible either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you wanted to listen to a CD, you had to go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Now I just go to Spotify and search band and I've got their music.
That's it.
It's probably good that you can't liken it to any specific type. It means that you have such an individual and unique sound.
Yeah, and I did read an interview that a review that someone did, and they're like, this band from Canberra in Australia, it sounds like that they're sucked into their own little world because they don't sound like anything, but they have like so many different influences and bits and pieces, but you can't pin it. You don't know what it is. It's just awesome. And I was just like, oh, that's
amazing.
That's wicked. That's wicked. Shout out to the person who wrote that.
Yeah. We've been getting some really great reviews for this album.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing.
Some of the songs have different sort of influences. Like there's particular ones where I listen to it and I'm like, that's a very much of a Behemoth influence that Josh has written there.
Yeah.
Like it's got the riff to it, then it's got the squealy bit that the guy always puts in every song, and then you listen to another song and it's got influence from something different. So I guess it just depends on the song itself, because a lot of the songs do sound different but the same in a way. Yeah,
we kind of try to let every song have its own identity, so you don't listen to a song and go, okay, I can just put that on repeat and listen to the whole album. And even if you go from Cleansing to this album, hopefully they all still had their little identity. They all sound different. And I think that's what some bands don't technically do sometimes. They kind of have their sound and that's it throughout the whole album, and you're like, I just need something more.
I know what you mean. There's a few bands, I'm not going to name any names, but like they've released like over 5 albums, and the first 2 were great, and then they've just found a sound and now they've stuck to it. And it's like, that's cool, but that's what you did 3 albums ago. How about you guys try and mix it up a bit? Try something new, because people hate to love but love to hate change.
Exactly. And I mean, if you do want to listen to that album, just listen to that album.
Yeah, exactly.
Life changes, people change, everything changes, and we've definitely grown with that new album, with our influences, with the way we play, how we push ourselves and how we write. We previously had just jammed stuff before, and this time we jammed it, we wrote it, we chucked everyone in together in a band room. We, messed around with it as much as we could to grow these songs into what they became.
We got Nick and James in the studio today. Just trying to get a feel for a little bit of information about the band and some few questions to make them a bit more personable for the listeners and not just listening to the amazing music they produce. So, guys, having fun on the show so far?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Good to be chatting.
You don't have to lie, guys.
How is it listening to your music back again through the studio monitors?
Yeah, it's good. It's it's a process to get it all together, but to actually listen to the final product, it's that, I guess, cathartic. We've done our
that big ball of pride.
Yeah, and the journey's there. We've gone through it and we give it to everyone else and they can travel through it themselves. They can make it their own.
Because we all have different journeys through listening to it. So I'll listen to it and I'll love it for what it is. But then when you guys listen to it, you're listening to all the pain, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the fights, the love. Yeah.
It's like when you listen to a song that, you and a friend listen to together. You're just like, I remember that car trip we had when we listened to that. You know? But yeah, so... What was your most memorable gig? I mean, obviously you guys had Cradle recently, but was there any, I mean, not so much for the bands, but also the story? Like, you have any crazy stories about travelling, you know, for gigs or anything like that?
Crazy story.
Your face just
James,
lit up so much.
Nambai Rockets in Osaka?
Yeah, that was crazy.
The gig itself was pretty good. Decent turnout. I mean, none of the shows except Tokyo and Japan had a good turnout anyway, but it was decent. But that was the night before we had 2 days off in Japan, and we just went out drinking.
Yeah, we had a bit of party time, spent some time with the bands.
Got lost.
Yeah, got lost. Ended up in a alternative nightclubby, you know, one of those, you know, alternative places that was in like an apartment block. Okay. So we went up like 3 levels.
Space efficient.
Yeah, it's odd, you know, go up 3 levels, go into this apartment, and half of the whole apartment was this, you know, pub thing. And so you're like, okay.
That's crazy, man.
But then some of the guys we were touring with were there, like the French guys from Sparkground were there too, and pulling their dicks out like every chance they got to, you know, walk up to someone who had their back turned to them.
Yes.
Yeah, the French guys. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's how they do promotion.
Hello, we are French.
There's a reason they scored that.
That's how they sign their. That's how they sign their contracts. They just whip it out.
You guys got a digital pack to send people. They've got their own pack.
Their own digital package.
Yes. Take the package now.
Yours digital, theirs is physical. It's just how it works.
Yeah, but they were nuts. You know, they were young guys as well, really living the tour life. They were.
Or a couple of them were young. A couple of them looked a bit older.
Yes, yeah. Maybe that's because they had partied quite a lot.
Yeah. It's hard to tell like a lot of the European culture. It's just like, are you 24 or are you 40 and you've just been smoking since you were 24? You know, you're not really sure. It's like if you start smoking when you're 8, you're going to look 40 at 21 anyway.
Exactly. But we had a big night that night. We tried to be really, you know, normal and kind of reserved before. Although we did go to Sendai, and it was like record level snow just before we got there, and we had Aaron. He was skating around on his shoes, and we're like, we haven't even played yet. You're about to fall over. The tour's about to start. You're about to break your arm, and then what happens? He's like, da da da, skipping. Yeah, it was crazy. But at Osaka we had a massive night. I think we went back to the hotel about 4.
Well, the drinks were so cheap over there.
Oh,
yeah.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I've heard they've got sort of like these like voucher sort of things set up where like when I was talking to the guys from Tensions Arise when they did their Japanese tour, he said a lot of gigs that everyone would only get 1 drink. For that, like the crowd, everyone, as you come in, you get like a beer ticket.
Yeah, they had beer tokens.
Yeah.
That was a free drink with your ticket.
Yeah.
And then you could buy more.
Oh, okay, yeah. And he said a lot of the time the fans would come up at the end and they'd have like collected all their friends' tickets and be like, here you go, have like 5 beers.
That's probably something I'll do.
The difference as well, because we were a touring band, we were allowed to bring whatever the hell we wanted in.
Yeah.
We could just walk in with a bottle of Jack Daniels. We paid $20 for it at the servo.
Yeah.
And we could drink it wherever we wanted, and no one would stop us.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, the 7-Elevens have $1 beer, and you're like,
wait, $1 beer?
I have pockets.
They had there was the big jugs of oil that you can buy.
Yeah.
They had those jugs filled with whiskey.
Oh, mate, that's my heaven.
7-Eleven brand whiskey.
Yeah, it's like a 5-litre jug or something.
Branded whiskey, did you say? What was that like?
I didn't try. I wasn't game enough.
Yeah, the vodka was metho. Lots of metho.
It was in a plastic bottle.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was like maybe $10.
It still tasted the oil that they tipped out of it.
Pretty much.
But yeah, bottles of Jack Daniels for like $20 equivalent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pack of smokes for like $4 equivalent. Like it was just.
It's an alcoholic dream.
Vending machines on the street selling booze.
Yeah.
But you needed an ID card to buy smokes from a vending machine.
Yeah.
So over there, literally anyone could go up and buy a can of beer from a vending machine. Anyone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you had to be over a certain age to buy smokes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we only want you to temporarily hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're not here for long-term pain.
Yeah. But yeah, that night, 4 o'clock in the morning, we got back. It was a pretty heated night. Lots of yelling, screaming. We got back. We got told, yes, it's 2 days off. The bus goes at 8 o'clock from the venue, and we take you to Kyoto. And there's 2 days up. I set my alarm, plugged it in. Jared set his alarm, plugged it in, happened to knock both of the chargers out.
Oh, no.
Aaron had his charger on, and I think Nick didn't even bother.
Aaron had his
Nick.
iPod on charge. My phone was dead the whole trip.
Fair enough.
So Aaron
You got off scot-free, man.
Aaron's alarm went off at like 7:30 and went, None of ours went off. At 9 o'clock, we get a call from the hotel going, hey, you got to get out. It's checkout time. And we're like, what time is it? Oh, my God, what have we done? So we chucked everything in our bag. Like, we're in a really good hotel because we wanted, to actually shower.
Yeah.
So we packed everything in our thing, ran to the
as fast as
venue.
we could when it was snowing.
Yeah, it was absolutely snowing. We're like, oh, this is beautiful. It's
It's
beautiful,
like
but
you're
I
in
need
like
to go.
an old style cartoon.
Yeah. And they did say, if you're not there, we're gone. And we rock up and they've gone. We looked at each other. We've had this massive night. No one slept.
All hungover.
And we're like, all right. So we went to the train station, got on the local public transport, which is not in English.
Yeah.
So, deciphering maps and things. And,
Did you have to get pushed on seeing videos?
Jammed on.
That's only the subways.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But luckily, it was only rather close, so about an hour and a half on local trains.
That's not too
We
bad.
just threw money into thing. We didn't even know how much it cost. We're like, yeah. People were like falling asleep, and I'm like, all right, here we go, this way.
Yeah.
And we got there, got into the hotel, and we passed out. It was the most epic journey ever.
That's pretty weak.
And we made sure we did not miss another bus ride.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah. And they were like, are you guys alive? Where are you? So, we joined back the tour. Continued on.
That was actually interesting because when we were in Kyoto, we had the 2 days off, and I went for a walk one morning with Aaron.
Yep.
Because we shared a room.
Yep.
We both snore, so we both shared a room.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's completely understandable.
And we went for a walk. It was a bit of a trek, but we just remembered which way we came from, so we went down shopping centre. Shopping centre was massive. It was just so much. I don't want to say this in any racist way at all, but there's so much Asian. Like, it was just so bright. Everything was very
cultural.
Very kawaii.
Kawaii. Very diverse.
And then we were walking around, and then we just see the guys from Fenrir walking down the street because they're like these three bogan-looking kids. We're just like, oi.
Yeah.
One of them
you can tell you're from Sydney.
One of them's like 6'4" blonde dude. So like
Pretty hard to miss then.
Yeah. And so we just ran into them, which was kind of random because we had no idea where they were staying.
Yeah.
And then we just I think we lost track of time or something like that. But most of those 2 days I just can't really remember. We just sort of slept and chilled out. And
that's not too bad. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool for like when you're over in Japan. Like I do want to go over to Japan at one stage.
Yeah.
But if you guys do another tour over there.
Yeah, we'd love to.
We might need a roadie.
Yeah.
And Ben's job will just be to make sure you get up at 7.
I'm not very good at that, but like I'll give it a go.
Your band will be ready and he'll be
I'll
still
be there
asleep.
drinking the $10 whiskey from the plastic thing.
Drinking oil, thinking
walk
it's
into his
whiskey.
room and he's got the empty jug next to him.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Keep you warm.
I will look after you.
Also, talking about keeping warm, we tried to save money, so there was 4 of us. All the places had like 3 beds, and so you had like, who drew this short straw, and then, you rotate. So
as long as you're not drawing each other's short straw.
Yeah, exactly. The last one in Tokyo, it was absolutely freezing, so we had 3 people in bed, and Jared was the one with the short straw, so he was on the ground.
Oh, no.
At one stage, I rolled over, and my blanket was sufficiently off me, so he just went, no, claim it. So he took that, and he had to wake up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and just have like a 2-hour shower. He was that cold.
Oh, wow.
And then when I woke up to have a shower, he's like, get bed. And so he actually got like 2 hours of sleep while we were all getting ready.
Yeah.
So it was pretty harsh.
Yeah,
and
intense.
we definitely had the cheap tour lifestyle. You can get rooms for like $20.
Well, it's interesting that night though, because we were walking to find the place we're staying, and we're all wrecked. Jay was like, I'm not walking any further. I'm just going to sit here for a while. And we ran into Aaron from Benphegor.
Yep.
He was with the Fenrir guys.
Yeah.
They were like 19, 20-year-olds. He was there essentially babysitting them, helping them get around. And he was the one who got us on the tour. And he walks up and we show him where we're staying because we were at where he was staying. And he points, he goes, right there. I was literally right next door. And we booked these separately. Like, we didn't even know where I was staying. Yeah. And in a city that big, we're just like, oh, yeah, you're right there. That is pretty big coincidence. And then Jared walks out of the hotel because he went to go to the bathroom. And we go, all right, we've got a bit of a walk ahead of us. And he's like, no! And we're like, right there. And he's like, awesome. Yeah. And because we only booked the room for 3 people, we did a bit of we realised early on that when we handed our passports over, they didn't know who to give them back to. Yeah. So we walked in. 3 of us went in, took our stuff up.
Yeah.
Then Aaron came back out, had a smoke with me. Then we both walked back in.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't tell. Yeah. Like all white people with long hair and beards. I'm not even offended.
I'm more complimented actually.
It's like a band of clones are playing for us.
Attack of the Clones.
All of us, because Jared at the moment has shaved his head, and then all of us had beards, long hair.
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
So we went through like the security screening and they're like, congratulations, bomb test for you. And oh, yes, and you, and you, and you. It's like, oh, yes, random testing.
And then there was the TV show that pulled us up in the airport.
Oh, yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, what are you from? And we're like, oh, we're in the band. Whoa! So they're like filming us and they're like, oh, show us your band and, your guitars. And yeah, that was cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yep. Bit of free advertising.
Yeah.
You can't say no.
Good.
Alrighty, guys. So where do you guys see yourself as a band going? Like, where do you see Claret Ash?
Well, yeah, I guess, every album we look at it as a fact of what are we going to do? Music evolves, we evolve. We've just gone through a bit of a slow time while Stuart gets his PhD sorted.
Yeah.
And so we'll go through probably a little bit of a slow stage while we do some more writing. Yep. So I've got the next project kind of in my head, so I'm working out some of it and then I'll present it. But I think we'll go pretty slow in the gigs this year.
Yeah.
And then, next year I think...
Go hardcore. Yeah. So you can do a bit more like writing and stuff this year, and then hopefully just go bang straight next year into just straight into gigs. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because, we're not young 12-year-olds going, 18-year-olds going, I want to take over the world, I want to gig everywhere. That was, I don't even know if that was ever one of my plans to tour the world and do all that, but, playing shows is definitely fun, and, we put a lot of effort into our shows.
Oh, you definitely do. Like I was saying before, he's just great. I'm still fanboying.
Yeah. But, I think, we'll definitely write some more stuff. We've got definitely a really good label behind us that's really good at helping us get promotion and push ourselves out. We've done Australia, that's what we've concentrated on for the first 3 albums. So
you've achieved your goal pretty much for the first 3.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a long concept that's strung between those 3 albums. And we haven't tackled overseas much apart from touring Japan, and so we're getting...
That's still pretty cool though to tour Japan, just when you were doing that, that's pretty big.
Yeah, and we did get offered to go back when Marduk came through there, and we couldn't do it, so we're
that would have been a pretty memorable.
I know. I think it was Tak on that one too.
Yeah.
So that would have been really good, but there's other opportunities, and I think we're moving on with the Cleansing album there. So if we did that tour, I think it was bang smack when we were recording, so it would have been probably another 6 months delay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Good to know a few of the little stories that you don't always catch.
Yeah.
But that's all we got time for today. We've got through a lot of the info. It'd be good to have you guys back here and just burn for a few more questions at another time. But it's been really cool. So, you got an album that's out now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure the listeners are dying to hear it. I mean, what's your favourite track from the newest album? You got the title track coming up next.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that one.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, but even the closing track of the album, Betrayal Am I, that went through so much of an evolution. And if you ever listen to the end bit, there's like 4 minutes of like group gang vocals, there's clean vocals. Yeah. My death choir's in there. We've got like like bells and whistles. Yep. We've got it's just phenomenal the way I had that in my head, like way back, and to finally. Like everyone was just like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and I'm like, no, it's in here. I've got to get it out through my mouth, and in my little bookcase thing, eventually it became, and I absolutely love it. I've been trying to do something like that in one of our songs for ages, and I really love that one.
For a song that's so short, it was probably one of the hardest ones for me to learn, like just because of the speed of some of the parts, and the stuff that we had written into it. As for favourite tracks, I like. What is it? Tears in Rain? Or was that renamed?
No, that's it. That's Like Tears in Rain,
Like Tears in Rain. That was probably one of my favourite to record.
Yeah.
That, and then the title track, I saved that one till very last because I really wanted to do that one last.
Yeah.
It was also a long one. It was quite simple, but it was one of my favourites.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to save that till last, get these ones out of the way. They're a bit of a pain, so...
Yeah.
Because even the start of the title track, it was written on guitar with multiple layers and then changing. And I transcribed that through Guitar Pro, and Josh learnt it on piano and then did some magic around it. And really made it shine.
Well, I guess it's hard to choose a favourite, but I mean, I think that's like very selective to the listener as well. I mean, all we can really do is supply it to them and let them make a decision of their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Bianca, bam!